Well, hello. Welcome, class. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Lesson 2.5.
Oh, and solving equations by adding and subtracting.
And as you can tell, today's lesson is going to be brought to you by Mr. Gunn and
Isabella.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about solving equations. Now, it's going to be really, really crucial that we go ahead and we show all our work. So let's just say that right from the get-go. And there are three principles. If you were in my class last year, you probably can remember these. The three things I want you to keep in mind while you're solving equations are as follows.
1, SAD. Wait, can I redo that?
Nope. All right, so one is SADMAP, okay, or as Isabella was just saying, SADMEP. Usually we say SADMAP. And where does SADMAP come from, Isabella? What does that look like? Looks a lot like
PEMDAS.
what spelled backwards? Right, it's PEMDAS spelled backwards. So if you look at it this way, all it is PEMDAS. And notice we group the S and the A and the D and the M, and it's because they tie just like they did before. The second step?
Opposites.
And the idea of opposites is if I'm trying to get rid of something like adding 5, I do that by subtracting 5. Right, I need to do it. And then if I do something to one side of an equation, I've also got to keep
Balance.
And that means whatever I do to one side of an equation, I do to the left. Let's take a visual example. So let's go ahead and apply SADMAP, opposites, and balance. And by the way, this first one, we're only doing one-step equations tonight, so this first one we're not even going to really need. We're gonna come back to that throughout the year. All we really need to worry about tonight are opposites and balance. So let's take a look at keeping things in balance. So here's an example of a standard algebra equation. 3 plus x equals 11. So think of that as a teeter-totter with 3 plus x on one side and 11 on the other. And right now you notice that the teeter-totter is totally balanced, right? That's because we have the same amount on both sides. Now, if I want to find out what x is equal to, what I can do is I can do things as long as I do the same thing to both sides. So I probably don't want to know about x plus 3. I would rather just know about x. So, how do I get rid of the plus 3? What's the opposite of adding 3?
Minus 3.
Right, so if I minus 3 here, what do I have to do in order for the teeter-totter not to balance? If I take 3 off of this side, it will be lighter and it'll go up and the 11 will go down. But I can keep balance if I also
Subtract 3 from the other side.
There we go. So we put a minus 3 on both sides. We draw a line underneath that. 3 minus 3 cancels out, and I'm left with just x. And on the other side, 11 minus 3 is just
9. Or
8. Yeah. And I still have a teeter-totter, and now I have the answer, x equals 8. And that's what I'm looking for. So when I solve an algebraic equation, that's essentially what we're doing. Think of a teeter-totter where we add or subtract things to both sides to try to make it level out. All right. Oops, I went a little bit too high. So let's take a look at a couple other equations. Sorry about my teeter-totter example here. I'll tell you what I can do. Let me see if I can erase that. No, that's not going to work. Okay, well, that's okay. We'll just start with these equations. Okay. So the first equation, e minus 43 equals negative 45. Let's do that one in blue. And so the opposite of minus 43?
Is plus 43.
So I'm going to add 43 to the left side, but I also have to keep balance, so I'm going to add 43 to the right side. Now the left side is always easy, the side with the variable anyway. So 43, minus 43 and plus 43 cancel out, leave me with just e. Now over here, this is why we just got done studying all those positive negative integers. When I combine a negative 45 and a positive 43, well those are different signs, so I need to find the difference, which is 2, and the bigger value, the larger value is the negative 45, so it's going to win the tug-of-war. So I end up with e is equal to negative 2. Now let's check and make sure that works. If I put negative 2 in for e, do I get negative 45? Well, let's think. Does negative 2 minus 43 equal negative 45? And the answer is yes, because that's negative 2 plus negative 43, and sure enough, that's exactly what we get. Okay, we'll switch over. I'm going to use black for the second one. So how do I get rid of a plus 45?
And minus 45.
Right, and where do I minus 45 from?
From the left and the right.
From the left and the right, from both sides. Remember, keep that idea of the teeter-totter. So if I take 45 pounds off both sides, I'm left with just I on the left. Now this one's going to be a little tricky. We have a positive 12 and a negative 45. So they're different signs. We're going to have to find the difference. If you need to, go ahead and put the bigger value on top and the smaller value underneath and subtract, and you'll see that the difference is 33. So we'll put 33 over here, and the thou shalt keep the sign of the larger value. That's clearly the negative, so this one comes out to be I equals negative 33. That's it. That's all there is to this. Now, very, very, very important now. This step, where we add 43 on both sides, or we subtract 45 from both sides, is absolutely crucial. In a 5-point test question, this work is worth 3 of the 5 points. The correct answer is worth 2 points. So you absolutely have to show all your work if you want to get full credit. All right, we've got a couple other questions that we went ahead and wrote out for you. So we're going to write these 4 questions up. And what we'd like you to do is, now that they're all up, to go ahead and pause the video and very quickly just write these 4 problems down on your paper. It doesn't matter. Ideally, you could write it in your class notes section if you have your notebook home. If you don't worry about it. Just get a piece of paper out. Could even be a little Post-it note. And write these 4 equations down. Okay? Solve them. When you've got answers for all 4, go ahead and press play again on the video, and we'll walk through them, and we'll see if you get the same answers that we get. Okay? All right, we'll see you in a second. Okay, welcome back. All right, so let's see what we've got here. The first one, you should have subtracted 9 on both sides. You should have shown your work. This cancels out. You get C equals, let's see, I think that's 28. All right, the next one, we're going to do what to both sides?
Take
J minus 8 equals 2. I want to get rid of that minus 8, so I'm going to do what to both sides?
minus 8 on both sides.
No, you want to get rid of the minus 8.
Oh, minus J.
So how about we add 8? We're going to plus 8 on both sides, okay? And when you do that, notice that cancels out, and I'm left with just J equals 10. All right? All right, we're getting this. The next one, I'm subtracting 18. The opposite of subtracting 18 is?
Adding 18.
And where should I add 18?
On both sides.
On both sides. That's the magical thing. Put a line underneath it, and you get x. These cancel out. You get x is equal to 29. And finally, the last one, I want to get rid of no, this one's a little trickier. I want to get rid of a plus negative 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually still add. The opposite of adding negative 12 is adding positive 12. So we're going to add positive 12 to both sides. Sure enough, negative 12 and positive 12 cancel out, leaving me with D equals 5 plus 12 is 17. Okay, and again, if you check all these numbers, 28 plus 9 does equal 37. 10 minus 8 does equal 2. 29 minus 18 does equal 11. And 17 plus a negative 12, or 17 minus 12, does equal 5. So all 4 of those check out. Hey, we're a pretty good partnership. All right, everybody. That's pretty much all we have for you. Without further ado, we would just like to let you know that this video has been brought to you by the folks at Otter
Crossing.
And if you remember, there's an Otter Crossing sign in the back of my classroom that you'll see tomorrow. All right, well, so I would probably remember that for my daily quiz tomorrow. And there we go, 8 minutes, not bad. Good job, partner. All right, we'll see you tomorrow in class. Take care, everybody. And if you need to go back and review any of these, that's fine. Otherwise, we will practice them in class tomorrow. Good night.